We are live.
Welcome. Hi, I'm Jackie Mori. I'm so glad you're here with us today because my featured guests, Steven and Vicky Bolt, are coaches, experts on love, dating, and marriage relationships. I received several questions in the survey for those who've registered. And anyway, right now, I just want you to know we are in the green room. For those of you who have never joined us live or watched a a replay, it's your first time watching a replay. We are in the green room. What does that mean? Well, we get to interact with you in the chat room, and then we're going to do the interview. And then after that, you, the live audience, get to ask your questions live of my featured guests, Steven and Vicky Bolt. And you get your free bonuses. Steven and Vicky are very generous. They have the abundance mindset. So they have 3 cool bonuses for you. Not just 1, not just 2, but 3. So that's all right after the interview. So stick around, please, until until after the interview, and then you'll get your bonuses. So I want to know who you are. So please type your name and where you're hanging out from. I'm Jackie Mori. I am hanging out from Seattle, suburbia. Steven and Vicky, where are you both hanging out from?
We're in Perth, Western Australia.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. And pray tell, what time is it right now over there?
It's just gone 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And don't we look fabulous?
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't be able to tell that it's 3 a.m. because you both look so bright and you both look like you.
Thank you, Jackie.
Oh, no, I'm not just saying that because you're my good friends. I mean, look at them, folks. Don't you think so? Folks who are watching live right now, they look fantastic, right? So anyway, so my featured guests, Steven and Vicky Bolt, are hanging out from Perth, Australia. It is 3:05 in the morning over there. So I want to honor them for their time. I want to honor them for their presence. I want to honor them for the wisdom and the knowledge that they're going to be sharing with all of us. Okay, so if you're here with me live, I see that we have Beth. Hi, Beth. It's good to see you. Hi, Sue. Good to be with you. And Linda, welcome, welcome. Please type in the chat room where you're hanging out from. And okay, Sue is from, Barbara. Barbara, you're from Newport, Virginia. Awesome. Welcome, Barbara. You're logging in as Sue. So I don't know why it's coming in as Sue, but I know that you're Barbara. I want you to type in if you don't mind, because I love cultivating an attitude of gratitude and an atmosphere or a heart posture of gratefulness. If you don't mind typing in the chat room, Barbara and Linda and who else is here? Beth and the others are in the room. What are you grateful for? Or if you want, if you don't mind sharing a win, because, we will celebrate with you. What is a recent win? For example, I'm going to share a recent win. My husband Jim and I have a 6-year-old son. Yesterday, we had a really good win. And that was in music class. His eyes were focused on the teacher. His ears were listening to the teacher. And he paid attention the whole time. And we got an email from the music teacher who we've had struggles with our son. She and our son have had struggles through kindergarten and now first grade. So yesterday was the first day that he actually paid attention through the entire music class. And so she emailed us and she was so proud of him. She gave him a high five. What do you think about that, Steven, Vicky? And
that is so awesome. Yeah.
Thank you. And what is something that you're both grateful for, Steven and Vicky?
Oh, we'd have to be speaking about kids. Our daughter has had our very first grandchild. And she's perfect.
Obviously.
Sorry?
I said, obviously, she is definitely perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Definitely.
Wow.
Yeah.
I am so proud of, you both have a grandbaby. Wow. Congratulations. Yes, indeed. Well,
to be able to watch our children parenting and doing it better than us in some respects. It's just such a privilege.
Oh my goodness, that is fantastic. Really, at this stage in your lives where you've raised your children and you've raised them really well, and now you get to see your grandkids come to be, and congratulations. Now I want to share that Barbara is grateful for life. Thank you for sharing that, Barbara. I am so grateful that you shared that. Awesome. Now, here we want Seth Godin. I want to quote Seth Godin. He says, leadership is the art of giving people a platform for spreading ideas that work. And I really believe that Steven and Vicky are here to spread their ideas which work. They have worked, they will continue to work, and they'll not just work for them and their family and their children, but these ideas will work for you. So I'd like to ask for those of you who are with me live, please share this broadcast on Facebook and Twitter. If you look at the bottom right of your screen right now, you'll see a Facebook icon and a Twitter icon. So if you don't mind just clicking on your Facebook icon, it'll open up in a very small window, and just share this broadcast with your Facebook family and friends, because I know that you probably have friends that you don't even know that they're struggling in their dating relationships, or they're having challenges and difficulties in their marriage relationships. So it would be awesome, even if you don't know that they are, if you would share this broadcast with them, so that they can also benefit from the wisdom and the knowledge that Steven and Vicky are going to be sharing with us. And after you've shared, just type in shared. Just type in the word shared, okay, or did it, or something like that. That way I know that you have shared, and I want to thank you in advance. And just as a reminder, we had different guests in our show. We had Paul and Angie Wagler, who are also marriage coaches. We had Michael Zarenko, who is an astute businessman. Then we had Larry Rad, who is an income and prosperity coach and a success coach. Then we had Dr. Becky Slaybaugh, who taught us about the prophetic, right? And then also last week we had Deborah Cundy Owen. This week we have Steven and Vicky Bolt. Next week is our season finale, and then after that, I'm going to take a short break because we want to I have about 14 episodes in the can, and I want to edit them all, and then I'm going to pop it up into $2 billion platforms, and I'm going to email all my featured guests the link, so that way they can also let others know that they can download these podcasts, right? Martha, thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate you. Thank you, Martha. And let's see who else is with us. Beth and Linda, thank you so much for being here. Now, I want to quote billionaire Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett says, the more you learn, the more you earn. Today, you're going to learn so much. You're going to discover, you're going to discover 3 things that could vastly improve your dating and marriage relationship. If you're dating, it'll improve your dating relationship. If you're married, it'll vastly improve your marriage relationship. You're also going to avoid 3 mistakes that people make when forming their dating relationships. Or for those who are married, you're going to avoid 3 mistakes that people make when their marriage relationship grows cold. And then you're also going to learn 3 things that will help you find incredible fulfillment and develop a rich relationship with the person you're dating, if you're in a dating relationship, or your marriage relationship. So lots to learn today, right? Okay. Well, Steven and Vicky, I'm going to run a poll right now. So I'm going to share with you the results of the poll. Okay, here's the poll, folks, and just fill it out. By the way, this is an anonymous poll. Poll number 1. No, I will not know. Steven and Vicky Bolt will not know who answered what. The question in poll number 1 is: have you ever had any problems in your dating or your marriage relationship? Now, if you answer no, I'm gonna call you, because I'm gonna say, hey, what are you doing that none of us have ever experienced? If you have never ever had any problems in your dating or your marriage relationship, if you have never, I want to call you, because I really want to sit at your feet, right?
Yeah, save your money, Jackie.
Exactly, right? Well, Steven and Vicky, 100% of those who participated in the poll said yes, we have had problems in our dating or marriage relationship. Can you speak to that, please?
Well, at least we've got an honest audience.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's nobody that honestly doesn't have problems in their relationship. When you put 2 people together, you're going to have problems. Yeah.
I mean, we had that one hiccup once about 30 years ago.
Yeah, just one. Yeah.
Just one.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I'm going to end the poll now, and then we're going to pop up the next poll. So 100% of you are very honest. Those who participated are very
Yes.
honest. And I really, really appreciate you for your integrity. Okay, now we're going to put poll number 2. All right, poll number 2. What is poll number 2? It is the question, what is the top reason you want to have a better dating or marriage relationship? There's supposed to be the word have. That you would want, no, sorry. What is the top reason you would want a better dating or marriage relationship? Is it happiness? Is it peace?
Yes.
Is it fulfillment? Or some or all of the above? So just think about it. And again, this is an anonymous poll. I will never, ever know who answered what, because that's the way Webinar Jam does. It's very nifty, because I won't know who answered what. So I'm going to end the poll in 5 moments, and I'm going to ask Steven and Vicky to speak to your results. Okay, I'm going to end the poll in 5 moments. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, Steven and Vicky, 100% of those who participated live said that the top reason that they want a better dating or marriage relationship is some or all of the above. They want happiness, peace, and fulfillment. So could you speak to that, please, Steven and Vicky?
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone wants to be happy. Yeah. Everyone wants to be fulfilled.
Yeah.
And the peace, of course, everyone wants a peaceful life. But it's some of the challenges in life that just makes it a little bit more exciting. So, yeah, of course, that's what we strive for, the happiness, definitely.
And they're all really good and reasonable expectations
definitely.
of a relationship.
And they're all attainable. I think they're absolutely all attainable.
Yeah.
That is so encouraging. Thank you for saying that, because you've had experiences and you're able to say, these things, happiness, fulfillment, peace, these are attainable. These are not pie in the sky kind of things that nobody can ever reach, right? Right?
Yeah, and they're not dependent necessarily on what's going on around you.
Yeah.
Because you will come into storms, but you can still maintain a level of happiness and peace and a sense of fulfillment as well. So despite the storm that you might be in.
Yeah.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. Awesome. Well, we're about to begin the interview, folks. So please take notes, take copious notes, because I know and I really believe that what Steven and Vicky are about to share with you will help you take your dating relationship, or if you're married, your marriage to the next level. So when I hold up this card in the middle, I don't want you to be shocked, because I'm just going to hold this up and say, and I'm just going to smile like this. And and don't be shocked, and don't, because what's going to happen is we're going to have the show edited. So we're going to clip out the interview, and we're going to pop in some ads in the middle. And so these are going to be shaved off. So you're with us live. So this will be shaved off, and this will be shaved off the interview. So you're very, very fortunate that you're with us live, or if you're watching the replay, that you get to get your bonuses, even if you're watching the replay for a time, right? Okay, so when I hold a card like this, okay, I'm just warning you, please just hang on to your seats, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to pause for a few moments. That way our video editor can put an ad there and another ad in the middle. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna pop up the video first, and that way we know that it's the start of the show. All right. Here we go. Just a moment. Welcome back. Now, before we begin, I want to make sure that our microphones are, is my volume okay? Can you hear me fine? Is it okay?
Yes.
That way, okay.
Yep, good. Yeah.
Great. And how about Steven and Vicky? Can you speak, please, Steven and Vicky?
Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to count 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to start the interview. Okay. All right, folks, get set and take copious notes, and because you're going to be quizzed at the end. I am kidding. No.
You're scaring me, Jackie.
No, you're going to be the professor. You're going to ask them the questions. I am kidding. Okay. Well, 3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Jackie Mori. I'm a multiple #1 best-selling author, co-founder of Customer Strategy Academy, and your web TV host for this episode of the 21st Century Legacy Letters Show. The legacy word for the day is coming up, but let's just take a few moments to thank our sponsors. Welcome back. The legacy word for the day is the word communication. To me, communication is so important because it is so important for your relationships, for your dating relationships, for your marriage, for your friendships, for your parenting, for all relationships. Communication is vital. Now, what is communication? I looked it up on an online dictionary, and communication is, #1, the imparting or exchanging of information or news. #2, it could also mean successful conveying or sharing of ideas and feelings. Now, before I share 3 needle moving keys to not just good communication, but great communication, these are what I have found and have used in my relationships. I want to quote George Bernard Shaw. He says, "The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place." I love that.
Yes.
That's the biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. And that's a quote from George Bernard Shaw. Now I'm going to share with you 3 needle moving strategies or keys to great communication. #1, eye contact. I cannot tell you how vital and important it is, especially these days when we have all kinds of things that will keep our eyes from the people that we're communicating with. Instead of me talking with my husband, if I'm texting, what am I conveying to my husband? That this thing is more important than he is to me, right? Or if my children come to me and say, mommy, I have a question. And if I'm saying, wait a second, let me just finish this. If I am looking elsewhere, I'm not giving them eye contact, guess what? That is not great communication. It is never going to provide a really solid foundation for good communication in a relationship with my husband, my friends, whoever it is. If I am speaking and I'm talking, looking at a device or my computer or something else, then that is not going to help us, right? So #2, body language. You've heard this before, that communication is 20% verbal and 80% body language. Now, why is that? Well, first of all, when I'm speaking with somebody and they're speaking to me, I'm watching for where their eyes are. And like I mentioned in eye contact, if their eyes are elsewhere, that means that I'm not able to communicate with them and they're not really tuned into what I'm saying, or I can't tune into what they're saying because they're not fully with me. They're not fully present, right? Another thing is with body language, you can tell if somebody has their arms crossed like this or they're frowning, then you can tell what emotions could be going through them, right? If, by email, you can't really tell if a person is upset or mad or livid when they're typing the email could sound really, really sweet and kind. But if they're processing their anger, right, or if they're processing their frustration, you can't tell by email. But when you're in front of a person, face to face with someone, body language is so important. So when you are communicating with the person you're dating or your spouse, I really suggest that you convey respect, you convey honor, that you convey that you're really listening to them. Here's one thing that I've adopted when I'm listening to my husband, because I have a tendency to interrupt. Here's what I do to help myself to not interrupt, okay? I put my finger over my lips like this, and I'm really tuning in. My eyes are on my husband, and I'm just fully listening, fully engaged with what he's saying until he's totally done. That way, I'm not tempted to speak, and I'm not going to interrupt him. That's just one of the things that I use in order for me to stop any propensity for me to interrupt or for me to say something before it's time, right? Another thing, another key is how you say things. This is so vital, folks. I can be saying something that is absolutely 100% right. It's spot on. It is correct. But if I say it harshly, or if I say it rudely, if I say it with a mean spirit or in anger, that is not going to provide great communication. And that's not going to build my relationship with my children, with my husband, friends, colleagues, peers, whoever it is. So it's not just what I say, it is how I say it. Same with you. It's not just what you say, it is how you say it. So I encourage you to really, before you and I say something, that we just take a deep breath and just pause. And then that way we are in a better frame of mind, a better framework, better perspective of saying it the right way. And those are my 3 needle moving keys to great communication. Now, I want to read to you a short bio of my featured guests before I bring them on to the screen. Steven and Vicky Bolt. They are going to celebrate their 32nd wedding anniversary in December 2016, and celebrate they will. Their love affair began when Steve traveled from his home in Perth, Western Australia, to the East Coast in Australia. It was not love at first sight. After what seemed like an eternity, which is about 6 months, Vicky relented, and a somewhat awkward relationship began for a couple of people who were not rich in life skills. In the 3rd year of their slowly dying relationship, they each became Christians within a fortnight of each other, and the relationship was reborn as well. Within 6 months, they were married, and ever so slowly, positive change came, and their underlying commitment to each other and God ensured they stuck together even when the going got tough. Now, over the last decade or so, they have realized the uncommon grace and delight that they experience in their marriage that frequently draws positive feedback even from total strangers. Don't you want that kind of marriage too, right? And so now, Steven and Vicky are actively developing resources for couples who want more than mundane in their marriages. Steve's Amazon best-selling Kindle book, A Simple Plan, How to Have the Marriage of Your Dreams, has now led to the soon-to-be released online course and to the development of a face-to-face course that leads couples through the 10 elements of the Simple Plan. Under the banner of enthusiastic marriage, Vicky and Steve are leaving in their wake a growing list of couples who have benefited from their life message. Steven and Vicky have recently returned to Perth after a 9-year stay in the gold mining town of Kalgoorlie, specifically to be near their family, which includes their son Zachary, daughter Rebecca, son-in-law Matt, and their newly arrived granddaughter Elizabeth, who is perfect. I'd like to welcome to the 21st Century Legacy Letters show my featured guests today, Steven and Vicky Bolt. Hi, Steven and Vicky. How are you both doing?
Good, thanks, Jackie. How are you?
We're great, Jackie. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
It's great to be with you. Now, Steven and Vicky, who would you like to dedicate this episode of the 21st Century Legacy Letters show to?
I'd really like to dedicate it specifically to my parents, actually, who have celebrated their 60 plus years in their marriage. So to them, I can't speak specifically, but also to all of those couples that we've been able to witness over the years, living a good life and a good marriage together. And they've been friends, they've been other family, they've been, ministry couples as well, that we've been able to see and learn from. And we'd like to also dedicate it to all those people who've not yet found the love of their life, who are still searching. And we'd like to dedicate the show to them too, because there is hope for those people too.
Absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Now, Steve and Vicky, would you take a few minutes to fill in the gaps in that intro? Just share a glimpse into your personal lives and maybe share how you both met. And well, you shared that already, but just a little bit of a glimpse into your personal lives, please.
Well, Steve actually came over from Perth to Sydney on a working holiday. And it was only meant to be for about 3 months. And then we met. We didn't like each other at all at first, really, but found ourselves living together in a big shared unit with lots of other people, and that's where we were forced to get to know each other. And as Jackie said, 3 months down the track, I found out he liked me, and I kind of went, ooh. But our friendships was forged from there.
Yeah.
And we became best friends. He still does make me laugh quite a lot. And I went away and I realised just how much, I liked him. And we got together, and we actually lived together for about 3 years. And our relationship was towards the end. It was starting to die.
Yeah.
We became Christians. And as Jackie said earlier, it was like our whole relationship was born again just with us.
Yeah.
And 6 months later or 4 months later, we were married. And we've been on this journey together ever since. And God has just blessed it.
Yeah.
And we've been through the trials together. We've had our problems and issues, but we've stuck it out together. We've had underlining belief that we're meant to be together, and we are as one. And God has really blessed that. Yeah.
And I think back to that time after we became Christians, and our marriage really was in the death rights back then.
Yeah.
Our relationship was, and we were in a little flat, and we were living together as married but not married. So we all know what that means. And when we became Christians, we made the decision that, okay, we can't live the way we were living before. So we had 2 little bedrooms, and so we separated. We went into 2 bedrooms. Because we just knew that would honour God.
Yeah.
And we would lie in our beds at night, and we would talk to each other through the walls.
It was so sweet.
So it was just a really sweet time.
Yeah.
And looking back now, we didn't think much about it at the time, but looking back now, I think it really set up our marriage.
Yeah.
It laid a foundation there. And I think God looked on that and thought, I can do something with this. And he certainly has.
Yeah.
Oh, how beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, let's dive into love, dating, and marriage, because I am just so eager to what you for what you have to share with us. Now, people young and old have challenges, like you both have, as they navigate the stormy waters of love, dating, and marriage. Now, what are 3 things that can help people navigate through challenges in their dating relationships and vastly improve their dating relationships, please?
I think to begin with, you need to know yourself, what you like, what you don't like, where you want to go in life, what does your personal journey want to look like. So get yourself established within yourself first, I think. And secondly, I think it's very important to get to know each other really, really well. Take your time, don't rush into it. Ask all the questions you think you need to know. I've heard of couples, they get married and then find out one wanted 2 kids, the other one wanted 7 children, Well, that's a big difference. They're the sort of things we need to know before we make that final. So know yourself and get to know each other really well.
Yeah. I think one of the other things, really more focused on getting the most out of the dating phase, is knowing what you want. You can have goals about all sorts of things, but do you have a goal for your dating? Is there a reason for you to be dating, or are you just dating because you don't want to be lonely? We've got this couple who they'd been together for a couple of years, just dating, and they were happy. They genuinely loved one another. But the girl was dating to find a husband and to be married.
Yeah.
And he wasn't coming across. They talked about it, but there was no action. And so she had a career opportunity. So she took that opportunity, which meant her moving cities. Within 6 months, he realized he'd made the worst decision of his life. And he picked up everything he had, moved. That couple now is married.
Yeah.
And they're married because she knew what she wanted.
Yes.
She knew why she was dating, and she drew a line in the sand. And, on the day that he was driving to the new city to be with his sweetheart, I was traveling the other way on the road.
Yeah.
So I was watching out for him. And I was going to give him a wave, but he didn't see me because he was focused. And because she knew what she wanted, it brought focus into the relationship.
Yeah.
And it's blessed them both, and they're both now enjoying the fruit of that.
Yeah.
That is such a beautiful story. And what wisdom. Know yourself first and really get solid on who we are,
Yeah.
you are as a person before you start dating. Because I know that some people are so needy and they're dating to fill that need, and that doesn't make for a good dating relationship. True?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes. And also, I was taking notes. Know yourself, take your time, don't rush into it, and then really get to know
Yeah.
each other very, very well. That is fantastic. Wow. Well, Steve and Vicky, what are three things that can vastly improve people's marriage relationship, please?
Mm. Look, I can't get past the 5 love languages. I think there's just so much fun involved in it, and it's effective, and it makes you loving each other deliberate, and you're speaking the way they like to speak. And so I would put that as number one. Gary Chapman writes the book, The 5 Love Languages. I think there's the touch, the affirmation of words, um, quality time, and acts of service. So it's very worthwhile getting a hold of. And secondly, I think boundaries, solid boundaries. Boundaries are for self-protection and self-preservation, and to stay within those boundaries and make sure it's those boundaries that both of you agree on.
Yes, yeah.
And it's a safety net. So you only get in trouble if you sort of stray away from them. So, and have fun with that. Don't get too rigid with it, but definitely have boundaries.
Yes, yeah. And I think certainly for us, what we've seen made a massive improvement to our marriage was actually having a plan.
Yeah.
You know, for the first probably 20 years, we just drifted along. We were happy enough, but we weren't really going anywhere. And so we came to a point where we thought we make a plan. So we just let our imaginations run wild and put down on paper, this is what we want our life to look like. And then we began to put a time frame around that. Then we began to put some actions around that. So we set some goals really around what we wanted our life to look like. When we did that, our marriage, our lives gained incredible momentum.
Oh, did you?
And stuff began to happen, some of it really, really quickly. And you know, when we share this with other couples, they've been inspired. They've gone and planned life, and their lives have begun to build momentum as well. So a powerful way to improve your marriage is having a plan. What do you want your lives to look like together?
Brilliant. This is so wonderful. I am taking copious notes. So thank you. Thank you for sharing. Well, Stephen and Vicky, what are three mistakes that people make when forming dating relationships, and how can they avoid these, please?
Okay, I think one I find I think people presume they can change people. You know, you're attracted to someone and they're pretty, whether it's a he or a she, but they don't always do or say what you like or enjoy. But they think, oh, we won't worry about, we can change that in them. Well, not necessarily. I think if you're not compatible personality-wise, you're probably better off moving on and letting them continue on to be themselves, and you can be yourself. So I think don't presume you can change another person. We are to enhance each other and make each other richer and encourage each other to be yourself. And not to be, as I said earlier, not to move in too fast. Take your time in a relationship. Once you get married, the rest of your life is quite a long time. So make sure you're getting the right person, and, you know, don't move too fast.
And I think the one that I would add there is being yourself. Not you know, when you're dating somebody, you want to appear your best. You want to do your best, but there's appearing your best and there's just pretending to be someone completely else. And that doesn't last. You know, it's not honoring the other person by being honest with them, and it's not valuing yourself either, because what you're really saying is, I'm not good enough for this person. And so if you do that, it will build a shaky foundation into the relationship. And if you go on to build a relationship based on basically a fraudulent front that you've presented this person with, it's going to build resentment and bitterness into the relationship. You know, I know one guy who he went to the extreme when he was dating. He would dress. This guy never wears suits, but he was wearing suits. He was having flowers delivered every day, and I can assure you, when the dating stopped, the suit went off, the flowers stopped, and those people do not have a happy marriage. You know, I know another guy who suffers from depression. Now that's a real and serious need, and he has to maintain that constantly. But she didn't know. They got married. He'd kept it from her, and she was probably love struck in that first stages of dating, and sort of overlooked it. Probably didn't pick up the signs, and so he deliberately hid it. She didn't notice it, and then they got married, and they too struggled because he wasn't honest. He wasn't honest enough to say, "Look, I suffer from this. It's going to be an ongoing issue. It's going to be something that if we come together, we're going to need to work together on." So be honest with who you are, because you're valuing self and the other person as well.
These are huge keys, and mistakes that people make is not being honest and not taking their time, just rushing in, as you've said, Vicky. And these are so valuable because I've seen folks make these mistakes, which if they just stop and even have people around them that will help them through that, maybe those who are a little bit older than them, those who are married, you know, even better. That way they can at least get to know the other person in the context of not just the two of them together, and having more of maybe a feedback from other people. And like you said, there were red flags, but they both didn't, the one person didn't see it and the other person wasn't honest about it. So these are such amazing things that you're bringing up. So thank you for sharing these things, Steven and Vicky. Now I want to move to marriage. What are 3 mistakes that people make that causes their marriage relationship to grow cold?
Yeah, it can be an ongoing thing. It starts off with little things, and I think unreliability is one. You know, when one of you are saying, "Look, I'm going to do this at this is such and such a time," and that, but doesn't do it, and it's a continual thing on all sorts of different things. But the other person will constantly feel left down. I can't rely on you, and it erodes the marriage. It sort of eats it away, and there's an underlying resentment. I can't rely on you for anything, you know. And there's another one, being too busy to make time for the other person. No, I can't catch up today. I haven't got time for you to download. I'm doing this, or after that, you know, and it erodes the marriage. You must make time for each other. And I think be true to your word. You know, if you're going to do something at a certain time, then do it. If you're going to meet you at the other person at 3 o'clock, be there at 3 o'clock, not 4. You know what I mean?
I think just forgetting to enjoy one another. You know, as the seasons of life roll on, you can forget that. You can get caught up in living life. You know, the obvious one for us, I think, was when we had young children. You know, you're busy working, you're busy looking after your children. It's so easy to allow the relationship to grow cold in that time. And you know, I think one of the things that we did in that time was we didn't have a lot of money, we didn't have a lot of time, but we would block out time for ourselves, not to do anything specifically other than to talk. We had a little bench out the front of our house, and we would go and sit out there at night, we would talk. It didn't have to be deep and meaningful.
No.
It could be just catching up on the week that was. It could be, but quite often we would go deep, and we'd find ourselves talking about stuff that we hadn't planned to talk about. So in that, because we set aside a block of time, quality came into it. You know, sometimes we would, we couldn't afford to go away or anything like that. So we would take a glass of wine to the bedroom, and the kids would say to us, "Are you guys having a special night tonight?" and we would just, we could go and talk for hours and hours. And in those conversations, you'd find yourself saying something and you thought, "I didn't know that before." But because you were talking and thinking out aloud, stuff comes out. Truths are revealed about yourselves and truths that you didn't even know before.
Yeah.
So it's to stop it going cold, keep communication open, and remember to enjoy one another's company. Because I look back on those times,
they're precious,
so fondly.
Yeah,
so
precious times.
The enjoyment that you have in the first stages of a relationship, that doesn't have to be lost. That doesn't have to grow cold. You can stay in that honeymoon phase. You can keep your marriage fresh by deliberately doing the things and remembering to enjoy one another.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. I want to ask a question that I hadn't planned on asking, but maybe just if you can just speak to this for just a little bit. You talked about being reliable, being intentional, and really scheduling time for each other. My husband and I love to go on date nights, and we do our best to do it weekly. But what about if in a marriage, one partner is unwilling to be intentional and is really focused on something else and is not willing to be intentional about the marriage? What do you think can help them, the couple, get back to who the Lord wants their marriage to, what the Lord wants their marriage to be, and how can they get back to that place of both being intentional and both still being committed to each other, please?
Both of them. I mean, the bottom line is you need both of them need to want to have that time together. If I was that person who was wanting the time, I would just approach the time, a time when there is a time together. It could be over breakfast or something, and say, look, I really need to have more time with you, and appeal to them and nicely, calmly appeal to them and say, this is important to me, and take it from there, see what they respond. And in the meantime, I would take it to prayer.
Yeah.
I often found in stages of our marriage where we were at differences, I would appeal to Steve, and then I would spend some time praying about it, and it would usually soften both our hearts, and we would come to a resolution.
Yes.
Other than that, if it becomes heated and hostile, perhaps they need help.
Yeah.
Someone else, a third person to talk to, or I don't know, your thoughts.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is right. You've got to talk about it.
Yeah.
And using the keys that you mentioned earlier, Jackie, about eye contact and body language. All of those things. Don't be accusing, be appealing. As Vicky said, choose the person's right time. What's the best time?
Yeah.
When they've just walked in the door after work, probably not a good time to tackle an issue like that. Don't make it about more than it is. Just say, look, I really need to spend some time with you, and to talk it out, tease it out.
Yeah.
And that might take a few times to do it. If it does get hostile too, it can be good just to take a step back.
Yes.
Say, okay, look, this is we're not getting anywhere at the moment.
Yeah.
Let's come back and revisit this later in the day or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Don't put it off indefinitely. Don't use it as a means of avoidance.
Yes.
But if you need to take a breather, it can be a good thing to do as well. So just develop good communication and just do it. And you might need to practice it. You will need to practice it. We were very bad at it to begin with. So you'll need to practice it, and you'll get better and better at it.
Yeah.
And remind the person of what you had and what you did in the first place, and how much you both enjoyed it.
This is excellent. Such wisdom. Thank you so much. Now, my next question, Steven and Vicky, is what are 3 red flags to keep in mind for people who are perhaps not dating the right person? And maybe you could share a story about that, please.
I think a different moral compass. I think that's a definite thing. You have to be on the same page. Different values, your integrities might be different, honesty, all that sort of thing, I think needs to line up. Otherwise, it can create huge problems down the track. How you think you're going to bring the children up. disciplining, all that sort of thing. You need to be on the same page. So that can be a red flag. And a controlling, look out for controlling in a relationship that can really smother you. And it's really a form of abuse, really,
Yes,
if it's
it
out
is,
of
yeah.
control. Those types of flags, if you see them, just run. Don't look back, just run.
Definitely.
And please don't think you can change a person. If change can take place, but that person has to be incredibly willing and able to work with God and the other person. And you don't want to start a relationship in that position. Do you know what I mean? It's better to, it's easier and happier. We're talking about peace and happy and fulfillment. If you start off on the same page, you've got a far better chance.
Yes.
Yeah.
So true. And I would throw accountability in there as well. You know,
Yeah.
if the person is not willing to be accountable to you,
Yeah.
and obviously that grows as your relationship grows. I mean, you don't exchange bank details on the first date.
Yeah.
But you know, as you move together, the wall should come down, the barriers should come down, and you should become more and more accountability to each other. Now, if the person you're dating is resisting that, if they don't want you to know where they are, who they're with, what they're doing, then that's a red flag.
Yeah.
And you know, a red flag doesn't necessarily mean the relationship's not viable. It just means you've got another opportunity to communicate.
Yeah.
And you see, and the idea is that you communicate these things, talk about these things, even fight about these things, but get them all out in the open. So then you can make a decision. Do we want to go ahead from here? And if you do that in the context of a relationship that is otherwise good, you can't change somebody like Vicky said, but if a person sees their behaviour in the context of an otherwise good relationship, they can make the decision. I need to change this.
Yeah.
So accountability is one red flag. I'll give you a story. It's actually not from when we were dating, but of when I wasn't accountable. And I'd like to say it was from years ago, but it was just from last year.
Yes, last year.
I decided that being the outdoors macho man that I am, not wanted to take up archery. And so I had a general discussion with Vicky about archery, about the concept of archery.
Not a fan.
Not a fan, but it wasn't a no. So I decided I would go and buy an archery and a bow set. And well, didn't we have an interesting conversation?
We did.
When that set arrived at home, because not only had I taken this general conversation as permission to go and buy this thing, and in my heart I knew I was doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But I'd also spend a significant amount of money on this as well, so which is something that we don't do, and that's an area of accountability as well. So, we're saying all of these things, but we don't always get them right either, and I probably get them wrong more than Vicky. She's closer to God than I am. So accountability is a red flag.
Yeah.
I love this. I'm so glad that you brought accountability up, because I find that when I'm accountable to somebody regarding my marriage relationship, my parenting, etc., I find that I can be vulnerable with this person and yet not feel condemned. And yet I feel like I'm really making progress, because they're keeping me on track, and also they're praying for me, and same with Jim when he's accountable to somebody. So that is such a huge key. And if people are not willing to be accountable, that is a red flag, and it's something, like you said, an opportunity to talk about it. So thank you. That's brilliant. Now, Steven and Vicky, what are 3 things that help people find incredible fulfillment and develop a rich relationship with the person they're dating, or in their marriage relationship if they're married? And it's not just about sex, right?
Well, sex is good.
Definitely.
Sex is there. Really should do that for you.
Right.
But have fun. Just remember to have fun. We get so caught up in busy lives, and we're serious, especially with kids, and you're in that realm, your marriage, and you've got little kids. There's always something going on. Little Johnny's broken his arm, or, you know, something's happened at school, and we can get bogged down because we've got that as well as work sometimes, and then we've got friendships and family, and we can really get bogged down with all this. So I think try and keep that fun element alive. Try and keep the dating alive. You know, do silly things. Steve and I prioritise. We'll have date nights. We'll hang at home. We've got a favourite comedy that we watch. It's an English one. It's The IT Crowd. And we sit there and we laugh and laugh and laugh. We get everything else, chuck everything else out, and just focus on having a good time with each other. And I think, you know, just really, really work at prioritising that. That can be tough sometimes, I understand, but really prioritise. Yeah.
Well, it is. It's about the sex. Forget everything else you said. Have as much sex as you can and everything will be okay. You'll notice a theme of what we've spoken about. One of the things we keep coming back to is communication.
Yeah.
And if you want a fulfilling relationship, that is the key. You know, as we've dealt with more and more couples, we knew that communication would be a key. We knew that it would be an issue. But we didn't realise how much. We didn't realise how poorly we tend to do good communication.
Yeah.
We didn't realise how universal that is. And learning the skills of communication is just
huge.
If you want a fulfilling relationship, that's what you're going to have to do.
It's a real key, and it's something that we totally sucked at to begin with.
Yeah.
It was, and it is a vital key.
Yeah.
To do it in that calmness. You know, Steve was a sulky one, but I was a fury one. But we But just the communication.
Yes, and sex.
Wonderful. Thank you. Well, folks, we will be right back with Steven and Vicky Bolt. Let's just take a few moments to thank our sponsors. Welcome back. Now, Steven and Vicky, I've experienced some redemptive stories in my own life. Would you kindly share one redemptive story, either in your personal or your professional lives, please?
Thought you'd never ask, Jackie. I touched on it a little bit before, but this one's a bit of a huge one, is how we resolved conflict. Now, as a young married, we were terrible. I mean, terrible. Steve would withdraw and sulk, and he would literally go without saying a word to me for anything up to a week. And sometimes I didn't even know what I'd done or what I'd said wrong. And I was the opposite. I got fury, and I wanted to yell and scream and jump up and down. And needless to say, we didn't resolve anything. And of course, it made us angry underneath. We'd simmer away, you know, and nothing really got resolved. But, you know, we decided we wanted to stay together. We wanted to work it through. That was always our underlining factor. And I would take it to prayer. Steve would take it to prayer. Took us a while to get together and pray about things together. But initially we prayed about it separately. And God worked on us, you know, and we just kept on practicing. I would try and calm my temper down. And Steve would talk. We would sit down, and we're not going anywhere until you tell me what's on your mind. And then he would say something. And it was for practice for me, just to, as you said earlier, Jackie, that deep breath, you know, we're just here to talk, nothing else, you know. How can we make this better? What's the solution here? And we have definitely turned that around. Now we just do it automatically. There's no sulking, there's no tantrums. We can just sit down, talk calm. Only for a minute or two. We don't even have to labour the point, do we now? We have really come such strides. God has just flipped it, totally turned it around. Yeah. So if we can do it, anyone can do it, trust me.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Steven and Vicky, you know, would you kindly show us a picture of you and your children and your grandbaby? Do you have a picture of your grandbaby, or just the one with your family?
Yeah, of course I have.
A picture of us. We have a bit of a family tradition that at Christmas time we we have a little theme each year, and so this year it was crowns. I'm not sure why, but sometimes we do musical things, and we just take this picture each year at Christmas of our family
doing all different things.
So that's our family, and
I
this
love
is
that.
this is our brand new grandbaby, and
Oh,
that was the day that actually I got to dedicate her to the Lord.
wow, you did. Oh, how wonderful.
It was so
Such an honor.
precious. Yeah.
So, and she is beautiful.
Wow. And what is her name?
Her name is Elizabeth.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Wow. Well, Stephen and Vicky, let's say decades and decades and decades from today, and you're on your deathbed and you have 5 more minutes with your children and grandchildren. What final words would you say to them?
Okay, I've written mine out. So I'm just going to read it from my letter that I would write.
Sure.
To those I've left behind, I know that if you've journeyed with me for some time, you will have seen me in triumph and in failure, seen me behave with both wisdom and foolishness, see me love and fail to love. But I hope the thing that you remember of me most is the constancy and the completeness of God's love for me that surrounded me through it all. And I want you to know that love for yourself. I want to tell you that my greatest earthly blessing has been my family, with my beautiful wife, Vicky, the cherry on top. Don't get me started. I'm not sure what eternity looks like, but I know it will be great and it will be wild. Please don't wait to begin to be great and wild in your life. I believe in you. Go do what you were made to do, and I'll see you when you get here.
Oh,
Beautiful, beautiful. Vicky, do you have anything to share?
Oh, I don't want to now. Mine sucks. I would probably just tell them how much I love them, how much each one of them have meant to me all my life. And I'd probably share the thing that has got me through my journey the most is my personal relationship with God, how I've relied on his word. In particular, one verse that I actually say over in my mind all the time, every day, on and off, and that would be Proverbs 3:5-6. Probably everyone knows it. Trust the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. Acknowledge him in all your ways, and he will make your path straight. And I can't express how much that verse has helped me, not only in bad times, but in good times. And if the people I love can grab hold of something of God and how it can transform your situation, whatever you're going through, good or bad, it can only get better. And God goes before you and he's got your back. Yeah. And just to find that key in God. Yeah.
I love that verse, Vicky. I love the trusting in the Lord. I mean, that trust is such a muscle that, the Lord wants us to really exercise all the time. Do I trust him or do I not trust him? So that is huge. And Stephen, that letter that you wrote, it's beautiful. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Well, now, folks, we are at the legacy sprint portion of the show. I get to ask Stephen and Vicky a question, and they get to answer it in 15 seconds or less. Are you ready, Stephen and Vicky?
Can we do it?
All right. What is one reason people fail in their marriages?
Okay, I got this one. Unhealthy communication or no communication at all.
Awesome. What is one action that you take daily that brings you to your present healthy marriage?
We have a daily download every day in some form for some length of time. We're just talking about the day, talking about what's going on, talking about what we're feeling, so that nothing's building up. We're just constantly getting it out there.
Wonderful. What are your top 3 favorite books?
Okay, mine's the Bible. Second would be The Love Languages, and Battlefield of the Minds, Joyce Meyer.
Love that.
I would say Drive by Daniel Pink, The Surprising Truth About What Motivates Us. Great book. Crucial Conversations. That taught me more about good communication than any other book outside of the Bible. And Love Does by Bob Goff. Great story. So those three.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Now, what is your favorite dish?
Okay, now Steve does all the cooking in our family. Fantastic cook. It's got to
Awesome.
be a chicken dish that he makes, but I don't have a title for it. I'm sorry, but it's just one of his dishes, and it's so good.
I would say pepper steak.
Yummy. What is your favorite vacation spot?
I would go anywhere, but we seem to gravitate to Rottnest quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, Rottnest for me.
Oh, good. Is that close to where you live?
Yeah, it's a little island off the coast of Perth.
It's just
there's
beautiful.
not a lot there, but it's just so relaxing.
Oh, yeah.
That's definitely going to be a favorite spot for sure. Now, what are your favorite hobbies or leisure activities, please?
Got to be date night with my man, hanging out with my girlfriends, and just friends and family. I'm a bit of a social person, I guess. Yeah.
Yes.
For me, I guess anything that involves coffee.
Yeah, anything.
Photography. I like to do photography. Mostly, I take photos of architecture. That's kind of interests me. And as Vicky said, just hanging with my family in particular. No, it doesn't get any better for me than that.
Yeah.
Indeed. What is your favorite quote?
Oh, okay. Okay, here we go. I like the one. It says, life is like a camera. Focus on what is important. Capture the fun stuff. Develop from the negatives. And if something goes wrong, take another shot. Now, I don't know who wrote that. I'm sorry. But yeah, it sums it up.
Yeah, I love that. That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Vicky. Do you have one, Steven?
The present is that point in time which touches eternity. And C.S. Lewis wrote that. And I just think, we talk a lot about planning in the future, and we see people living in the past, but the present is the moment in which we can make change. And I think that's just a great quote by C.S. Lewis.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I love that quote too. Now it's time to promote you. What would you like to promote today?
Okay, well, firstly, I guess if people want to ask us any questions beyond today, or just get in touch with us, they can get in touch with Vicky on vicky@enthusiasticmarriage.com, or with me at Steven@enthusiasticmarriage.com.
Like that.
And they can also contact us on Facebook. Just look up Enthusiastic Marriage on Facebook. They'll find us there. They can like our page. And to go with the show today, what we've done is the book that we have, A Simple Plan, How to Have the Marriage of Your Dreams, which is a Kindle book on Amazon. We've made that free, and it'll actually be free for the next couple of days. So we would suggest that you get in and get your copy, A Simple Plan, How to Have the Marriage of Your Dreams. And that was the first expression of trying to put down in writing what it is that's made our marriage work. So get a hold of it. It's really simple. It's really good. And it'll work for you. And it's free, but only for the next couple of days. So when you get off the show, get on there and get a hold of that. Also, if you go to our website, enthusiasticmarriage.com, go to the contact tab and enter your details in there. What we've got for you there, what we will send out to you is we've got an infographic of the simple plan elements. We've got an infographic in a PDF of some guidelines for dating. And also we've got, some people are already on the other side of divorce. So we've just got an infographic and some information in there for people who are on the other side of divorce and how to rebuild their lives from there. Also, by putting your details into our contact page on our website, you will be eligible. We're only weeks away now from releasing the online course, the Simple Plan. That comes with, it's over 3 hours of videos in small bite-sized chunks. Comes with a manual, comes with worksheets, comes with a whole list of romance builders and romance killers, putting all that together in the package. So if you put your details in our contact page, you'll be eligible for the introductory pricing when that's released. So really recommend you go over there, do that, and take advantage of everything that we have.
How wonderful. So folks, please go to enthusiasticmarriage.com, put your contact information there, and you'll be able to take advantage of that special price. Now, of course, the book, by the time that we edit this this episode, will probably no longer be free, but I tell you, I guarantee you, it will be well worth your investment. So thank you so much for all the things that you are doing, Steven and Vicky. What an honor to be with you today. And I'd like to leave you all with a quote, and it's by Jim Rohn. He says, "Take advantage of every opportunity to practice your communication skills so that when important occasions arise, you will have the gift, the style, the sharpness, the clarity, and the emotions to affect other people." I'd like to thank you so much for being with me today on this episode of the 21st Century Legacy Letters Show. Thank you so much, Steven and Vicky. And I am honored to be your Web TV host. I'm Jackie Maury. Go and live a life of significance and leave your legendary legacy. Thank you, folks.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Steven and Vicky. Are you ready?
Thank you.
Yeah, I am so proud of you. I want to give those folks who are still with us right now and those who are going to be watching the replay your bonuses. So if you don't mind, I'm going to pop up the bonuses. So while I do pop those up in the inside of Webinar Jam, I'd love for you to speak to these bonuses. The first one I'm going to pop up is Steven's book. It is free today. Today is October 19th. So those who are going to be watching this after October 22, it will not be free anymore. So might as well download it now. And this is Steven's. Can you see the book I'm displaying, Steven and Vicky? It's on the if you go to the offers tab beside the videos, you'll see that, it says, "I want Steven's Kindle book." By the way, folks, Steven hit Amazon bestseller status. So this is a best-selling book. You might as well download your copy right now for free before it goes back up in price. And in any case, even if it goes back up in price, it's definitely well worth your investment. So the title of the book is A Simple Plan, How to Have the Marriage of Your Dreams. Could you speak a little bit about this book, please, Steven?
I guess, we mentioned earlier that we were getting feedback from people that we didn't even know about our marriage. And so slowly it dawned on us, our marriage isn't common. It's better than common. And that's not a boast in ourselves. But once we began to realize that, we began to ask God, well, what is it that's different? What is it that we do different? What's gone into our marriage that's made it so different? And so from that, we identified 10 elements that have contributed to our marriage being what it is today. And so they're things that anybody can do. They are simple, not always easy, but they are simple. Because it's got to be simple to do it every day over a lifetime. It's got to be simple, otherwise it becomes too hard. And you. So that's really all that's in there. We talk about the elements in the first section, and then we revisit the elements in the second section inside the book from a biblical point of view as well. So we back it up. This has been our experience, and this is why it works, because this is what God has said about it. And that's really why anything works, because God has spoken into it.
I love that. I love that. Thank you. Now, by the way, Steven and Vicky, are you going to offer sometime in the future, after you offer and roll out this course that's coming up, do you already currently offer maybe like 2-on-2 coaching or something like that, whether, in Australia or even here in the States? What if people want to connect with you and want some coaching time with you? Are you available to do that, or are you thinking about that down the road?
With the 2-on-2, we're thinking about it down the road. We sort of haven't formalized our plan for that yet, to be honest. We are doing face-to-face small group courses locally. So here in Perth, we can certainly arrange that for people. And they are so much fun and so valuable.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So we're developing as fast as we can because we know that the need is real and the need is great. If people have a particular issue that they want to talk to us about, certainly approach us through either our emails or through the contact page on the website, and we will do our best to be the best help to you, or to redirect you to someone who can be of best help to you.
That's fantastic.
One of the things that we say about ourselves is that we're actually not counsellors.
Yes.
But we've just experienced a good marriage, and so we can share with you the truths. Our goal is not to so much to counsel people, but to put the tools into their hands so they can do the work and reap the benefits in their marriage.
I love that. Yes, you're definitely marriage coaches for sure. Well, I have some questions that came in through the survey, Steven and Vicky, so I'd love for you to address these. Now, I asked them in the survey, what is your top question for my featured guests about dating or marriage? And one of them asked, how do you cope with repetition? Perhaps they mean a cycle or a pattern that is in their marriage that may be not so good of a cycle or a pattern.
I think you have to be very conscious of it and very deliberate in making a change, and stopping yourself. I mean, I'm not really sure what repetition they're getting at. It could be a wrong thought or a pattern or being stuck in a rut. I'm not sure what it is, but you have to be very deliberate and take action and keep doing it until there's a change there.
Yeah.
I want to.
Well, I guess again, not knowing what the person's situation is, you can't avoid all repetition, particularly in seasons of life. There's going to be lots and lots of repetition. So the important thing is to have times of enjoyment and break and communication in there, so that we're repeating, but we've always got something to look forward to. We're always working towards something, and we're always communicating and downloading. So we're in the midst of repetition, where we're still doing life. Yeah, it's all of life's not just swallowed up in the mundane and in the repetitious. So I'm not sure that answers the question.
I love your answer, actually. You need to break up the pattern. There needs to be some kind of a pattern interrupt, because if it's just mundane, then it will be the same way. But if we interrupt the pattern, then that will really help stop the repetition or the cycle that's ongoing that may not be necessarily healthy. Well, I wanted to share some of the comments. Angie says, beautiful sharing, excellent thoughts and being intentional. And Angie says, thank you so much, Steven and Vicky. Let's see here. What else? Barbara says, I want this book. By the way, folks, it's in the offers tab. So click on the orange button that says, yes, get my copy now. This book is free until Saturday. I'm looking at my calendar over there. October 22. It's 4 days, free for 4 days. And so get it now. And you don't need to have a Kindle reader. All you need to do is download the free Kindle app. And that's also available on Amazon. It's an app that you download on your computer, your laptop, your mobile device, your Android, your iPhone. It's a free app. Kindle is a free app, and just download this book right now, and you can read it on your phone, on your iPad, your desktop, or your laptop. It's free because Kindle is free for all these devices. Okay, now another question, Steven and Vicky. How does one cope with a loved one's short-term memory? They're having a challenge with their spouse regarding short-term memory. How can they cope with their loved one's short-term memory, please?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I guess it's the same as any difficulty you're facing. Again, it comes back to communicating around it. Yeah. And being understanding of it. If it is actually a medical issue, then you're going to have to be understanding with it. Yes. You're going to have to be gracious with it, and find ways that work for you. Yeah. And also continue to pray too. I mean, particularly if it's a medical issue, no matter what it is, that ability in marriage to go to God and share your heart in joy or despair is paramount. It's so powerful. So pray, be gracious to the person, and keep the lines of communication. I know we sound like a broken record talking about communication, but it really is key.
Yeah. And just practice that patience. I mean, if it's like a medical thing, it might even help to put a few things up on the wall to, as like little post-it notes, and even if it's not medical, that could be a little bit insulting. I don't know. You just have to find what works with you, but try a few different things. Be patient and gracious, and love. Always do it in love.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good idea. That having prompters around. Maybe you can have a practice of either yourself or your partner keeping a journal or a diary of writing things down as a prompter to them, and getting in that, or maybe even keeping it in their tablet if that's more convenient, which it probably is for most people. So reminders in there, just to, okay, we've got this situation, how can we help?
Yeah.
So reminders, visible reminders, written reminders, maybe a tool to help you navigate that challenge.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Those are really phenomenal ideas, Steven and Vicky. Now, in the another bonus, I'm going to stop this particular offer of a simple plan. I want to pop up another bonus because Steven and Vicky are very, very generous. They want to give you 3 bonuses. This is for those who are dating. This is the dating outline. So I'm going to pop it up here. So it says, I want Steven and Vicky's dating strategies. I'm tired of certain patterns and cycles. Yes, I need this now. Just click on the orange button that says, yes, I need this now, and download it for yourself. Or if you know somebody who is having some issues and challenges in their dating relationship, just click the orange button and download it for them as well. So Steven and Vicky, I have another question for you from the survey, and that is, how can I navigate my marriage relationship through the varying seasons of my marriage?
Carefully.
I think the main thing there is to have some constancy in the relationship itself. You can arrive at a point. Say later in life, you can arrive at a point later in life where you've done this decades together, but you've kind of lost who you were along the way. And so the important thing is to continue to relate to one another, continue to enjoy one another, continue to communicate with one another all the way through. So when you're in the child zone, we call it. I think that's where most people lose it. And I think we probably went to our own relationship went to a lesser level. We kind of took a little bit of a back step there, and we would do things better now had we had our time again. But we still deliberately made time for one another. And so doing that all along the way through each and every season, and also coming back to planning as well. If you've got a master plan that you're constantly looking at, reviewing, updating, adding new stuff in, deleting stuff, old stuff out, it gives you a vision above the season that you're in, because otherwise you can just get swallowed up in the season and even separated in the season that you're in. So having a master plan for your life, 1 year goals, 2 year goals, 5 year goals, 10 year goals, lifetime goals. By beginning to draw them out of you and beginning to work towards those, you're always looking a bit further down the track than just the season you're in. So I guess it's having a vision for something greater than just the moment in time where you're in.
You're always looking forward to something, aren't you? Yeah.
My goodness, having a master plan, that is just brilliant. Seriously, that is brilliant to have a master plan. I don't think I've ever heard of that, a master plan for marriage. So
Either
thank
have
you.
I.
That's awesome. That is brilliant. I mean, we have some goals, but it's not like a master plan. So, wow. Well, folks, I'm going to pop up yet another offer. So please, I'm going to give you 5 more moments. I'm going to take away this offer regarding dating. So I'm going to count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to remove this offer and I'm going to load up the next one. It's regarding those who've gone through divorce, whether it's you or someone else. If you want Steven and Vicky's wisdom regarding divorce and you want an amazing marriage after you've experienced divorce, please download this right now. So there's an orange button that says, yes, I want this now. Can you speak a little bit about what this is, Steven and Vicky, this offer, this bonus?
Well, fortunately, we don't have any personal experience with divorce. We've watched other people go through divorce. Yeah. But we thought about, what is going to help a person on the other side of divorce. And again, in a large part, it's about looking forward.
Yeah.
It's so easy for a person that's gone through any grief, any trauma, to get stuck there, to get emotionally and mentally stuck there. And that's quite often what happens with people who've gone through divorce. And so just the simple guidelines we've got there is just really questions to evaluate where you're at, have an honest look about what happened, where I'm at in it, and where can I go from here. So it's just a gentle way, hopefully, to get people to move on.
Move forward.
Honestly, looking at the past. And then, one of the pictures I was given of dealing with stuff in the past was visualizing a door. Seeing the stuff through the door that's happened, acknowledging that it's there, acknowledging that it happened, and then closing the door on it. And walking away. And through the entire of that process, it's so important to be led by God, because otherwise you can get into over analyzing and you just get stuck in this downward spiral from there. So yes, having a forward focus, but with an honest appreciation of what's happened and your role in that. And one of the things that I haven't actually mentioned in there, but it's really important, is that we grieve over divorce, we grieve over relationship difficulties, but so does God. And we, if we know people that have gone through divorce, we often comfort them, but we forget that God's grieving too. And so I think having an appreciation of that gives it a greater weight. So not to be condemning to anybody.
My goodness, that's so beautiful. I really appreciate how you're addressing divorce and really God's heart toward those who have gone through divorce and acknowledging it and not being and getting rid of whatever shame that might be attached to this particular trauma, and really acknowledging it is traumatizing, not just for the spouses involved, but also for the children. And so I really appreciate how you're tackling this and how you're gently encouraging folks to look at this door and to make sure that they get the help that they need, the encouragement and the support that they need, the healing that they need. That way they can actually say, let's shut this door now so that we can move on, because otherwise it's just going to keep coming up, I think, like you said, and they're not able to really be healthy to really move on to an amazing marriage that maybe the Lord has for them after divorce. So thank you. I have another question from someone who filled out the survey. What do you feel about, or how do you feel about tuning up your marriage? Like, for example, marriage getaways or marriage retreats, please, Steven and Vicky.
Oh, we're in. We are so in. Yes. I think it's a fabulous idea.
And obviously, when you're, if you're in a difficult season, finances, time pressures, children pressures, you've got to do what's appropriate for that season that you're in. You can't always go away to a luxury resort every second weekend or something like that. You can, it might be very, very simple. Your date nights might be very, very simple. They might even be at home. But yes, definitely go for it. Invest as lavishly as you can afford to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. Thank you. I really appreciate you speaking to that, because people don't have to, like you said, go away and spend more money. And then if they're already struggling financially, that creates more tension and angst in their relationship. So that's so wise. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. One last question before we go. Steven and Vicky, how do you keep a relationship from becoming toxic?
It's easy. It's back to the communication.
Yeah, it really is.
You need to, obviously, there are unresolved issues that just keep mounting up, and that causes the toxic. So you've got to deal with each issue as it arises. It's not dealing with it. You must face the difficulties that come your way.
Yeah.
As a team, you're in it together. You're not each other's enemies. We become one. So we work together. So if you deal with each one, you should be just like forgiving and moving on. I know that sounds very easy, but it's attainable. It's real. It can happen. You just have to be open to it. And if you're not having that build up, then you avoid that toxic. Yeah.
Yeah, true. And again, not knowing what the person who's asked that question means, what their circumstances are.
Yeah.
It may be toxic in the sense of, abuse or neglect or abandonment. And, if a relationship gets to those stages where a partner has left the relationship, they might be still living in the same house, but they've left the relationship. Maybe unfaithfulness or, abuse in any form, then that's when you need to have your retreat to your personal boundary.
Yes.
And say, am I prepared to stay in this relationship?
And take action, make decisions,
Yeah.
solid decisions, and take action.
Yes.
Don't stay in a toxic situation.
Yes, yeah.
Do whatever you have to do to move forward from there. Yeah.
We really hate the idea of divorce. We hate the idea of separation. But if a relationship is truly toxic and the other party is unwilling to change, unwilling to stop those violations of the relationship, then you have a choice, and you have a reasonable choice, a reasonable decision to walk away. We don't encourage it. We don't like it, but sometimes it may be your only option.
Yeah. And so I've heard so many people say, "Oh, we don't have any choices," but we do.
Yeah.
There's always a choice.
Yes.
Always a choice. That's actually a lie. I have to put up with this. No, you don't.
Yeah.
There are choices.
Yeah.
So
Indeed.
I can't be responsible for my actions. Yes, you can. And yes, you should be. Sorry, I'll be quiet now.
No, this is phenomenal. And you're touching on things that really are at the back of people's minds, or people have experienced, such as unfaithfulness or maybe abuse. So these are the real issues in marriages. And maybe the other person is just not committed anymore to the relationship. And so the other party has to decide, okay, what are my boundaries? What can we do moving forward to either move this relationship forward, or maybe I need to take a step back and set some boundaries. That way the other person maybe can be alerted into, oh my goodness, I am actually neglecting this person, or whatever it is. And I really appreciate you speaking to this. So Steven and Vicky, I just want to thank you so much for everything that you've given to us today, your wisdom, the stories that you've shared, and the strategies, this master plan. Do you talk about the master plan in your book, A Simple Plan, Steven?
No, I've never used that term before today.
Oh God,
but we do talk a lot about planning, goal setting, drawing the vision out of yourself, and that's
there's a whole
really
section
fun
on that.
process.
Yeah, that's a really fun thing.
Wow. Well, maybe you should create a course on that. A master.
Yeah.
I'll buy it. Jim and I will buy it. Well, thank you very much, Steven and Vicky. What an honor to be with you today. And can you share maybe a short testimony of how did I do as a host today?
Oh, brilliant. You make it very relaxing, Jackie. Easy for us to respond, and you create a very relaxing atmosphere.
Yeah.
a very engaging atmosphere. Makes it easy for us. Yeah.
And Jackie, you're so gracious.
Yes.
And so encouraging, and you keep the conversation moving along.
Yeah.
And you've just got this light sense of lightness.
Yeah.
That's bad English, I know, but you do, and you're very responsive. You make it very, very easy to be on the show with you.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much, Steven and Vicky. And I really want to give testimonial to you that both of you are really very knowledgeable about marriage and what things make a marriage work and what doesn't make a marriage work, and what things people can do and how they can actually successfully navigate their dating relationships, and for those who are married, their marriage relationships. So I really, really appreciate you both. I'm so honored that you have accepted my invitation to be my featured guests today on the 21st Century Legacy Letters show. And I look forward to connecting again, maybe 3 months from now, and having you both as guests again. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I appreciate the bonuses that you gave to our audience, both live and on the replay. So I appreciate you both. And congratulations again, Steven, on hitting the top bestseller list on Amazon. You're an Amazon best-selling author, sir. Woohoo! So, folks, thank you so very, very much for being with us. I look forward to being with you again next week on our season finale of the 21st Century Legacy Letters show. After that, I'm going to take a slight break as I edit all of these wonderful interviews with my incredible featured guests, such as Steven and Vicky Bolt today. And after that, we're going to start back up again for season 2. And watch out, because I'm going to invite Steven and Vicky again, and come up with your world-class questions. Maybe 4 months from now when I have them back on the show. Thanks again, Steven and Vicky. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Lord bless you.
See
Thank
everyone.
you. And remember what Vicky said. You are not each other's enemies. You and your spouse are not each other's enemies. I say that sometimes when we're in the middle of the argument is getting a little bit heated. It's supposed to be just talking, and then becomes a little bit more, So I said, honey, we are not each other's enemies. So thank you for reminding us about that, Vicky, that spouses are not each other's enemies. All right. Thank you. Lord bless you. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Goodbye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.